Hey guys, what's going on today? I thought I would do another mock draft for the Eagles. I already made a mock draft, but since then some players have gotten injured and I found some other players who may be a better fit for the Eagles. So I decided to update my mock draft, and with only a week until the draft, the hype is getting insane. I just thought this would be something that's really fun to do. So getting right into it, the first round is obviously going to be the hardest to pick because it really sets the tone for the entire draft. With Sidney Jones rupturing his Achilles, it really put the Eagles in a tough spot. Also, with the Eagles signing Alshon and Torrey, it sort of lowers the immediate need for a wide receiver. Ultimately, though, I'm against getting a running back in the first round, so I won't be taking Christian McCafrey like a lot of other mock drafts suggest, but instead I'm going to be going with Gareon Conley, the cornerback from Ohio State. After Sidney Jones' injury, I started thinking maybe we should trade back to get him because he was only projected to go, maybe late 20s. But now with Sidney Jones and Fabian Moreau getting injured, guys like Conley and Marlon Humphrey, their draft stock has gotten boosted immensely. And Gareon Conley perfectly fits the Eagles' system. So while I don't necessarily think he's worth 14th overall, I think if we don't take him, we'll be missing out on a good starting corner for the future. For the second round pick, I have to go with Joe Mixon from Oklahoma. In my last mock draft, I had him in the third round. However, interest has grown for Mixon, and I don't think he makes it out of the second round. If Mixon falls to the Eagles in the second round, they absolutely have to take him. He fits everything they need. The Eagles could use him 20 to 25 plays a game. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. Really just a complete running back. Probably the most complete running back in this draft. Obviously, his stock has fell because of the off-the-field issues. However, Jeffrey Lurie did give the Eagles the okay to go ahead and pick him up if he falls to us. So hopefully nothing new comes out and the Eagles keep their sights set on him, because he would be an amazing pickup for this team. For the third round, I have us taking another cornerback, Cameron Sutton from Tennessee. If not for an ankle injury in his senior season, this guy would be a first round pick. He played phenomenally up until that ankle injury, and I don't see it as a very serious injury, and I don't think it's going to hinder his performance at the NFL level. He's really good at man-to-man, and that's a huge factor for a player in the Eagles scheme. However, his size is a bit of a concern. He's 5'11", 188 pounds. If he can add some muscle this offseason, maybe bulk up a little bit, he could really be a strong competitor and easily a starter for the Eagles. With the Eagles' first fourth round pick, I have to go with Carlos Watkins, the defensive tackle from Clemson. I decided to go with a defensive tackle instead of an edge rusher because Bo Allen got injured and he's expected to be out for 4 to 6 months. That leaves us with Tim Jernigan all alone. While I have faith in Jernigan, I don't want something to go wrong and have no one to fall back on. Also, Jernigan is on his last year of his rookie contract, and he could go after big money and leave the Eagles next year. So I think having a nice, strong rookie to prepare and take his place if he decides to leave would be a good idea. Carlos Watkins is a beast. He racked up 13.5 tackles for loss, 10.5 sacks last season. Jim Schwartz really likes to let the front four go ahead and attack the quarterback. I think Watkins is a perfect fit for this type of scheme. With the second fourth round pick, I got a guy that I put in my last mock draft, Josh Reynolds, the wide receiver from Texas A&M. We got Torrey to be our vertical threat this offseason, but I don't have a whole lot of faith in him. I really hope he can be a good vertical threat for the Eagles, but in the case it doesn't work out, a guy like Josh Reynolds is a perfect replacement. Much like Torrey, he's sort of a one-trick pony. He can only go deep. His underneath routes aren't really anything too impressive, and he does have somewhat of a poor frame. He's 6'3", 190 pounds. He's really long, lanky. He doesn't have the build you want from a guy from his size. However, he is a tremendous value, and if we can pick him up in the fourth round, he's definitely a guy we can rely on if Torrey doesn't work out. For the fifth round pick, I decided to go with a linebacker in Stephen Taylor from Houston. This guy is sort of one-dimensional in a similar fashion to Michael Kendricks. This guy is an absolute beast on the blitz and is very good at stopping the run. However, his coverage skills are a bit lackluster, Nothing that can't really be fixed with a little work in the offseason. But this guy has the size and skill set that the Eagles can utilize if they decide to trade Kendricks on draft day. Again, this isn't the best linebacker in the draft, but he's a very solid pickup in the 5th round, and if the Eagles decide to use him on the blitz, he will perform extremely well. For the 6th round pick, I decided to go with yet another cornerback, and Damontae Kazee, I think that's how you say his name, from San Diego. Due to other corners I talked about earlier getting injured, Kazee might end up going a little higher than the 6th round, but if he falls to the Eagles in the 6th round, they should absolutely take this guy. He should be a phenomenal slot corner, or at least a developmental talent. This guy really isn't a guy I would like to see lined up on the outside because he really lacks the size to beat big physical receivers, but he moves very quickly and has very good coverage on short routes. His instincts and ball skills are top notch. The only thing holding him back really is his size and ability to defend the ball deep. So I think the Eagles can really utilize this guy as a slot corner, or at least for depth at the position, which is really what the Eagles need right now. They're severely lacking depth at the cornerback position. And finally, for my 7th round pick, I'm going with the same guy as in my last mock draft, Jerry Ngakwe, the offensive tackle from William and Mary. This guy is coming from a low-level school. He didn't really play against top-level talent, but he has all the physical traits you want in an offensive tackle. This guy is absolutely massive, and really, in the 7th round, you're not expecting a starter. This is a guy that I'd like to see them develop, and I think if you can develop this guy, he's definitely going to be like the next Jason Peters. He's already the same size as Peters coming out of college. And with Jason Peters set to retire soon, I think it would be a good idea to get a guy like Ngakwe who can learn and develop behind Peters for a year or two. That way the Eagles don't struggle when Peters decides to leave, or if Lane Johnson gets injured. They won't struggle like they did last year with the tackle position being kind of iffy. I think Ngakwe would be a valuable pickup, and for a 7th round pick, you aren't really risking a whole lot. But what do you all think? Are there any picks that you would change? Let me know in the comments below, and if you guys enjoyed this video, leave it a like and subscribe to the channel. I am Motionless Gaming, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.